So before we get started, I'd like to just have everyone look around the room, acknowledge all these beautiful human beings that we're holding space together with. Take a moment, check in. Now check in with yourself. Just acknowledge your heartbeat. Maybe put your hand on your heart for a moment. Take a few inhales. Appreciate that thump you feel behind your hand. So, the way I'm going to flow with this is all intuitive. So you're going to have to ride with me. So imagine we're in the carpool lane on the 10, but we're moving. Everybody else is stuck, but we're flowing. So the way I like to share is in the form of storytelling. And usually when we tell stories from a place of where we've been wounded, where we've been hurt, where things have happened to us, which is okay. So as I talk, I'm going to talk about mindfulness, awareness, self-awareness, and how to use it from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep. So pay attention. But if there's anything that I share that needs to be articulated or clarified at any point, raise your hand, and I'll try to make it make sense. So I'm going to jump in here real quick and just give you what my experience has been and why mindfulness and self-awareness has been so key in my life. And at any point, if something comes up for you as I share, where you feel a strong emotion come over and you need to take a moment, step outside, get some air, please honor yourself. This is a space where I want you to have the permission to show up fully. I know a lot of times, in today's society, we feel like valuable things come in pretty packages. I'm gonna tell you right now, my Instagram handle only has 1,400 followers. But the jewels that I want to share with you, I've lived them, and I've overcome them, and I've seen the results of them. And anybody here in this room that knows me can attest to that. But not so much about me. I just want to understand how I could be of service to you, and I want to make myself relevant as a human being. So when I was a little boy, age of 5, I was molested by the babysitters. I tried to speak up. They poisoned me, left me for dead. Fast forward that. Turned 17 in a mental institution based on the behavior that was coming up from how I was raised, from the experiences that I had. So I've done the padded room, the real room. They tried to tell me I was crazy, but I didn't believe it. My heart just wouldn't wouldn't accept that. But I did battle with it mentally. And then at 19, drug deal went bad. I was shot, hit in the femoral artery, where I bled out. But I had my first meditative experience. Usually, at the time you hear stories about people transitioning, you think about all these thoughts. And in that moment, I was reminded of everything my mother used to teach me about self-awareness, self-love, self-care. And instead of worrying about dying, it just came real clear to me to check in and see if any of those tools, any of these practices that we're getting ready to go into really worked. So I tried it. I took that deep inhale. Now, if you know anything about the femoral artery, it's one of the largest blood supplies. It takes the blood from the foot back to your heart. And so the sound of that blood leaving me didn't give me a lot of hope. So I knew I had to work fast. So I was like, how do you cut through the mind chatter? How do you cut through all of this story and get into the practice? Because this might be your only shot to save your life. So I took a deep breath. And I knew from watching movies that once you hit the femoral artery, it doesn't stop. And then I knew from going to school that when you're excited, the heart beats faster. So I'm trying to calm down because I'm like, I only got a few seconds to do this before the ambulance come. And if you're from the inner city, you already know. You're on employee time. Real talk. So as I'm having this conversation with myself, I began to think, man, if I die like this, all this hard work that my mother has put in, I've never seen her waver. I've never seen her fret in any circumstance. I can't go out like this. Fast forward that, I had this conversation with God, and I'm here. I believe in the word God. I use that word very admirably. And so all that to say is, when we think about mindfulness, awareness, meditation, all of us are meditating. When you're sitting there thinking about that text message that you sent 20 minutes ago and you didn't get that response yet, you're meditating. But what are we meditating on? And for some of us, well, if we look around this room, for the majority of us, there's a lot of things that need to happen before we can even get into that deep space of just really grounding yourself, centering yourself. The fact that I look like this, the fact that I got to step outside and deal with the challenges that I got to deal with. Not to mention my own personal stories, and then the circles that I'm around. So when you talk about awareness, how aware are you to how you respond to the things that are happening? So if you're in this space right now, I'm sure the mind is going where it's going and thoughts are coming up. But if you take just your physical form out of the equation, if you take your story out of the equation and just look at yourself as this limitless being, this blessing, that's why I said, check that heartbeat. Because as long as that's still thumping, at any point with a deep breath or a conscious breath and awareness, you have the ability to shift any moment. And that's what laying there, dying taught me, is that I could have laid there, fretted, worried, bled out. And a lot of times in our situations, we check out. You feel numb. And a lot of the stories that we carry with us, they're really not all our stories. But the moment you give anything outside of you, your time, your energy, when you're scrolling, you give a lot of your power away. So as the rest of these gentlemen share, I really want you to check in. Take advantage. You came here for a reason. Come get what you came for. Now, we may not look like celebrities, or we may not have these big platforms, or we dress like conscious men or just everyday casual people. But don't let that stop you from receiving the jewels that you came to get today. Or maybe somebody that's sitting right next to you. How aware are you when you're in this space? Where are you going to let your mind go while these men drop these jewels? Are you going to judge yourself? And it's real. I thought about this shirt for 20 minutes. And then Ray was like, that's a nice shirt. But some of us, we're so busy with life, but you ain't busy with your life, right? Let's just be real. You came here to get something. I want you to get it. To die and come back and to see how this really works for me, you know, I realize that the heart is one of the most powerful tools that we all have. And so I'm going to leave you with this. Check in with it and ride it throughout the rest of this night. I challenge you to allow your heart to lead you. And I guarantee you, when you leave this space, you won't look back. You're going to be inspired to look forward. Your heart knows. And if you don't have this connection, anything that they're getting ready to share with us, it's just good information. But can you integrate it? Can you embody it? Can you walk with it? Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, like and subscribe to our channel. Go watch our next video. Follow us at Yogi Athlete through the social media on our links below, and we hope to see you soon.